return of the star as an influencer explores the shift from old media to new media using Instagram accounts of Zeenat Aman and Neena Gupta. Um,
Yeah.
Akriti, start.
Thank you so much for having me over here and giving me this opportunity to share my work at this insightful conference. Let me just share my screen. Just a second. Can you hear me? Just a second.
Yes, we can.
Yes, we can hear you.
Sure. Okay. So, so my work is basically looking at the Instagram accounts of veteran starlets like Zeenat Aman and Neena Gupta. Now, I'll begin right away. So, this is basically an image of Neena Gupta posting about looking for work in the film industry in 2017. The post she made on her lesser known Instagram account was shared on her influencer daughter, the designer Masaba Gupta's Instagram handle. Masaba posted how her mother had been fearless in considering the space of the platform as a means of connecting with the industry that seemed to have forgotten her glorious career as a soap opera director and a refined actress, albeit in character parts primarily. Now consider the return of the 90s starlets with examples like Karishma Kapoor, Sushmita Sen, Ravina Tandon, as seen here, and Urmila making a comeback with second innings as influencers, speaking about their skincare and fitness regime and the hook steps that delighted the childhood of millennials. Nostalgic returns to a past lost in the annals of VHS tapes and satellite television make a slow comeback through social media. The return to this past continues with each new entrant in the visual landscape of Instagram posts. Celebrity capital, as Olivia Drizens suggests, for the era of social media platforms emerges as an additional realm of power and value, wherein popularity and stardom serve the individual to garner more of the power that has hitherto defined their career. The stars like Zeenat Aman, with their posts about finding a new channel for connecting with their fan base, old and new, is an emergent space within platforms like Instagram, wherein it is not just the older population of the platform users that identify with the star, it is also the younger generation of people who have little to no association with the star and yet connect with the vulnerable realities of human life through the lens of stardom. I open with Neena Gupta in my analysis as she was the first to understand the space of Instagram as an influencer and use her network to drive it towards her return to commercial Hindi cinema. While we have examples of star registers on platforms, her post opens up the questions of vulnerabilities of a star on the platform and how social media bends stardom into the logics of immediacy and influencer economy to serve the function of stardom. In a recent report on the influencer archetypes on social media platforms, which was compiled by the Advertising Standards Council of India, suggested how influencers are of many predictable typologies, wherein stars with their pre existing paraphernalia of celebrity are easily rendered as influencers. So, when Neena Gupta makes a post about connecting with her Instagram audience, it is a connection back to her audiences that supported her work in a previous media generation. Yet it takes Masaba Gupta's post to make it visible. The realms of visibility offered within the premise of a social media platform are the locus of questions that warrant responses on what it takes to be heard and seen within the platform space. And while in case of Zinat Aman's post about autographing headshots for her fan mail are an anecdote and a relic reminding of the star fan intimacies, her social media posts attempt to do the same even when she claims that the camera phone is at best short-lived proximity wherein the star selfie is a fleeting encounter as opposed to the memorabilia quality of the star fan male relationships as she shares in this post. Understanding the grounds of affinity in the star fan assemblage is the baseline for making sense of how a celebrity from the old media world operates in the social media influencer economy. These tugs at heart in nostalgic registers of their social media posts reaffirm our cinephilic faith and suggest how paratexts of any film and their star cast have an enduring afterlife given the right set of conditions on the social media platforms. When Neena Gupta made a return to the screen through her social media presence, she was seen in short films on YouTube. Yet it was a statement in the Hindi film industry that there weren't any parts written and crafted for women who were middle aged and older. Indeed, as one traces the stardom forays of Amitabh Bachchan's persona that refuses to fade, actresses from his generation like Zeenat Aman have made a recent comeback on screen through Instagram. Her celebrity status at once qualifies her in the position of an opinion leader and hence influencer on the platform who shares her work experience as a starlet of an era gone by, curating her experience of working in a film industry that was ready to represent women outside the confines of homes and women who have had an experience of voice and choice of exercising this space. In contrast to the contemporary stars on social media platforms that share detailed accounts of the outfit of the day and the gym routines, the older generation of stars has this human presence, reminding of a world still untouched by neoliberal individualism. In their return to social media screens as influencers, the older generation of stars find a space to connect their stories with a newer generation that may not have been privy to their work. It is interesting to note how the conventional registers of stardom resurface as remediated images in the form of posts and memes from an older era in the posts shared by both Zeenat Aman and Neena Gupta. The film industry's logics of stardom and the performing body of the star adopts the social media influencer codes of retailing old stories and historicizing the past for the present generation. While Gupta's mobilization of platform visibility led her to return to the silver screen with a string of middle and old age characters, there are other elements of this Euroboric exchange wherein film stars from the 90s find themselves caught as the middle generation, occasionally performing the outfit of the day and the workout posts, etc. Instagram, being a primarily visual platform, serves as a kind of a gallery of negotiations that different
Akriti,
generations.
just a
Yeah,
time check-in. It's 7 minutes
yeah,
in.
sure.
You have 3 more minutes.
Sure, thank you. So, Instagram becomes this primarily visual platform for these negotiations between different generations, and further contemporary stardom has been dominated by this entourage narrative, which this older generation seems to sort of forego. Now, when a voice gets branded into identity driven logics, the world of these older generations, the work of these older generations speaks of how a platform conforms every single user to a singular logic of representation. Indeed, when Zinat Aman actually takes an auto ride to a friend's birthday party, it is a moment of celebrification, an ordinary persona turning famous in reverse. While the younger generation shares their regular routines, the older generation is calmer and often refuses to this brand bargain wherein a star, owing to their presence as on the social media platforms, ought to conform and create a celebrity line of products. These entrepreneurial shifts in stardom are drawn readily from the influencer economy, wherein the aim is to keep the target audience hooked on the social media handle of the influencer. So when Sushmita Sen, she's also from the 90s, she revives her star persona with her comeback from the platform show Arya. And it is her acting career that, of course, supplements this social media stardom. It is also this idea of influence that is created through her posts. Celebrity culture is equally a site of celebration and derogation. So it is not lost on social media platforms that these women often face trolling in response to the posts that they share. Indeed, to reconcile with the platform logics, the paraphernalia of communication experts and PR professionals inform these influencer personas. Neena Gupta is singularly an interesting case study in understanding these transitions. Now, what is also interesting to see in case of social media is that these images become a part of an extended moving image culture, right? So if you look at the male counterparts like Dharmendra, they have also a very sort of viral following, but they are not able to revive their careers as stars back into the film industry. And what remains to be seen is that if we can see a comeback of people belonging to a similar realm of stars like Jaya Bachchan and Wahida Rehman and Rekha, to come back on social media and create their own sort of influencer persona aditya. That's my piece. Thank you.